All right, so today what I wanted to show you is how my wife and I built this 3-foot high vinyl garden fence to keep the dog out of the vegetable garden. And we did all that spending under $225. So today I wanted to talk about this 3-foot vinyl fence that my wife and I put up to keep the dog out of our vegetable garden area. So Apollo is actually a 4.5-year-old lab. And I don't know if you can tell, he is not a very large male lab. He's only 60 pounds, which might seem kind of funny, especially if anyone watching has, a Chihuahua or a Yorkie or something, bless you. 60 pounds and small don't really go hand in hand. But Apollo actually didn't get very big. He's pretty much a medium-sized dog, which for a male lab, he could have gotten really, really big. I remember when I was living in Texas, I ran into this dog, and it was a lab, and it was like 100-pound male lab, and it was like the best dog ever. So when I got home, actually not home, but when I became an adult, I decided I wanted to get a lab, and I had no idea how big he was going to get. All right, so like I was saying, we did this entire project for just under $225. Our goal was to make a barrier to keep our 60-pound lab, Apollo, out of our vegetable garden, because he absolutely will eat everything that he's just got pinched in the face by a praying mantis. He will eat everything. He will eat anything and everything. Our garden, our vegetables, including vegetables that are not good for dogs to eat, like onions. So the first thing about this is it is kind of small. It's only 3 feet high, and it's not super stable. And I'm going to show you how I built it. I'm not super worried about the stability because it does have so much airflow in between the slats. The wind just goes right through it. Unlike our big fence we put up on the side, that's a privacy fence. Wind hits that and it hits it like a sail. Wind hits this and it just goes right through it. Apollo, he's 60 pounds. He's not a huge Labrador. And learned helplessness. He doesn't try to push through this. He sees it and he's like, oh, it's a barrier. I can't get through that. I'm stuck. So it really works for our needs. If I was like running down our grassy hill and I slipped and I fell into it, I could knock it over like nothing. But the fence itself, I got for $50 off Facebook Marketplace, which is a killer deal. I love Facebook Marketplace. And if you follow this channel, you're going to see that I get a lot of stuff off Facebook Marketplace, more than I probably should. I don't know if it really counts as a killer deal if I keep spending all of my money on it. But the fence itself, the rails, slats, posts, the toppers that I got, 50 linear feet, and I only spent $50. So that was honestly the best deal about it. I did have to buy a few more toppers off of Amazon, but right now they have a deal where you can get 3 for $1.60 each. And I tried to like reorder 3 the next day and it didn't let me. It was like, nope, you can only get 3. I was like, dang it, Jeff Bezos. So how I did this fence. Each one of these vinyl rails, posts, apologize, have an opening at the top, and at the bottom, they have what's called a socket. And I looked on the internet for a whopping 30 minutes and could not figure out what I needed to get to add to this socket to attach it to the ground. I do know, well, I can assume from how dirty the socket is, that the socket goes towards the ground. I decided I was going to do things a little differently because I'm cheap, and honestly, the things that I did find online for that socket were like $12 to $15 a piece per post. It would be very, very expensive with how many posts it takes for this garden fence. So what I did is I actually flipped it. So instead of this being the top, I made the socket the top. So I had the socket be the top, I leveled it out, and then I got 4-foot 1/2-inch rebar. I got 4 feet because I thought 1 extra foot would be enough difference. And so I cleared away the rock on the ground, leveled it out the best I could, and then I slid down the rebar. Then I hammered it into the ground 1 foot. So under each one of these, it looks just like that. It's a rebar in the socket. I was telling myself that'll be enough because that's 2 points of contact in my brain. That's 1 point where this rebar, and it fits really nicely in the socket, connects with the top of the post, and then the next point of contact is down in the ground where it goes into the ground a whole foot. So that is how I did that portion of it. And like I said, it's not super solid, but it absolutely works for our needs. So here you kind of can see how it looks after I have stuck it into the ground. I didn't want to stick the rebar super low because I want to be able to pull it out with a wrench or pliers more accurately, in case I needed to move the posts, which I had to move one post already. So that worked really well. But as you can see, with how much air can flow through this little 3-foot fence, it really doesn't matter to me that it's not super solid. It's not meant to be jumped on. It's not meant to be hopped over. It's just meant to keep him out. Yeah, I know I'm talking, man. And that's the goal of it. So that's how I did the fence portion, the vinyl portion. And next I'm going to show you how I did the actual post, because the post for the gate. The gate I definitely made more sure.